Before we begin, viewer discretion is strongly advised. What you're about to hear isn't a rumor. It isn't a social media theory. This is courtroom testimony recorded and reported from the federal trial of Sean Diddy Combs. And the moment Will Smith entered that courtroom, the entire room changed. No legal notice, no PR announcement, no entourage. Just a man walking through the back doors of a courtroom, unannounced. Gasps rippled across the gallery. Even the judge froze. Until that day, Will Smith had said nothing. He had been a name whispered in connection to the trial, in leaks, in speculation, in disturbing audio clips that insiders claimed were too horrific to release publicly. But Will had said nothing, until now. And when he finally opened his mouth, what came out shook the room, shook the country, shook the entire entertainment industry to its core. He wasn't just a movie star anymore. He was a witness, a survivor. For the first time in his public life, he wasn't acting. The courtroom was tense from the start. Reporters sat in rows, scribbling notes. Lawyers whispered strategy. The next witness was about to be called, but instead, the back doors opened, and in walked Will Smith. No suit, no tie, just focus. Calm, steady, determined. He walked slowly to the stand, not making eye contact with anyone, not even Diddy. The courtroom was dead silent. Some people thought it was a stunt. Others thought he was lost, but when the judge allowed him to speak, everything changed. "I wasn't asked to come here today," Will said, voice steady. "I asked." It wasn't part of the schedule. It wasn't part of the narrative. But from the moment he started speaking, you could feel the truth pushing its way through the air. "I've kept a lot inside for a long time," he began. "I've laughed on red carpets, I've smiled in interviews, I've played roles about strength and honor. But what I saw, what I experienced, none of that could hide it." He turned slowly toward the defendant. "You did this." He said it began with a party, one of those industry events you're not supposed to talk about. A celebration, they said, Diddy's birthday, they claimed. Just music, networking, a place for stars to unwind. But the moment Will arrived, he knew something was wrong. The house was massive, tucked into the Hollywood Hills. Black SUVs lined the driveway, security everywhere. His phone was taken at the door. He was told it was for privacy, to protect the guests. But it felt like something else entirely, like no one wanted anything to get out. Inside, the music was low. The lighting was dark, almost surreal. Mirrors lined the walls, but there were no cameras in sight. It felt like being watched, but by something you couldn't see. Will said the vibe was off. Hypnotic even. People were calm. Too calm. Everyone was dressed up, but no one was talking about work. Then Diddy approached him. "Now you're part of the family," he said. Will followed him into a back room, expecting a business chat. What he found instead broke something inside him. He described the scene. Men, women, people performing. Some he recognized. Some looked far too young. Others stood by, watching like it was some twisted show. And Diddy, laughing, relaxed, like it was the most natural thing in the world. Will paused, swallowed hard. The courtroom sat frozen. "I didn't know how to leave," he said, "and that was the point." Days later, a blocked number called him. "Hope you had fun, Fresh Prince," the voice said. Then hung up. Then came the envelope. No name, no label, just a flash drive. Will hesitated to watch it, but curiosity won. What he saw stunned him. Footage of himself, on a couch, eyes glazed, laughing at something he didn't remember. He looked intoxicated, drugged, out of it. Then he heard Diddy's voice in the background. "That's how we keep him." At that moment, Will realized he hadn't just attended a party. He'd been captured. From there, the manipulation began. He declined the next invitation, then the next. Then the calls stopped. At least the friendly ones. Roles he was in talks for vanished. Collaborators went quiet. Whispers began online. Whispers about his sexuality, his mental health, his marriage. Will didn't need a formal warning. The pressure was clear. This wasn't a man threatening him. This was a system moving silently against him. He said Diddy didn't have to make threats. He had people to do it. PR teams, bloggers, executives, everyone in position to shut a door, twist a headline, or make someone disappear. It wasn't overt. That would be too obvious. It was quiet sabotage. He remembered one deal in particular, 2013, a luxury brand, a global campaign. Will had already shot the first lookbook. Final negotiations were in place. Then, out of nowhere, they dropped him. No reason given. 2 weeks later, he got another Diddy invitation. He declined. Then the calls started again. Gossip blog stories, deeply specific rumors, the kind only someone with access could leak. You start to feel like you're paranoid, Will told the court. But then the pattern becomes undeniable. You realize you're not imagining it. You're being boxed in. And Will wasn't alone. He knew other celebrities going through the same thing. Some were under contracts. Others were afraid of being exposed. Some were still in the room, laughing too hard at Diddy's jokes. You didn't collect people, Will said. You controlled them. Then came the tapes. When Will first heard about audio being played in court, he didn't believe it. Then someone he once trusted called him. They played it yesterday, they said. You're on one of them. He was stunned. He hadn't even known he'd been recorded. He didn't sleep that night. Memories came flooding back. The party, the envelope, the footage, the feeling of being watched. The next day, he called the prosecution. I'm ready, he told them. Whatever you need. When they played the tape for him behind closed doors, no press, no jury, he nearly broke. I heard myself, he said, laughing. But it wasn't me, it was hollow, drugged, broken. Then Diddy's voice. That's how we break them in. Then his name, again and again. They were saying my name while doing things I don't even want to describe. Will paused. He looked down. His voice cracked. That tape didn't just humiliate me, it stripped me of something, my humanity. The public reaction was instant. Viral hashtags, exploding view counts. But this time, people didn't just watch, they listened. Old clips resurfaced, interviews where Will flinched at Diddy's name, photos where the smile didn't reach his eyes. Fans looked again and saw the pain. Hollywood scrambled, brands issued vague statements, executives canceled meetings, crisis PR teams were activated. But the dam had already cracked. Will posted just one thing, a black and white photo. 1993, a young Will smiling on a set. The caption, he didn't know what was coming, but he made it through. I'm proud of him. No hashtags, no tags, just truth. In court, he didn't stop with the personal. This isn't just about Cassie or me or one night in a mansion. This is about a machine, an industry built on silence. When asked if others were involved, Will nodded. Kevin Hart, Meek Mill, Lucian Grange. No full details, legal reasons, but his eyes said it all. He added, they'll try to spin this. Say I'm bitter, say I'm crazy. Let them. I'm not here to protect myself. I'm here to protect the truth. Then he stood from the witness chair, walked toward Diddy, looked him in the eye. You built an empire out of manipulation, he said. You called it culture. You called it love. But all you built was fear. Diddy didn't flinch, but his lawyer whispered something fast. Will held up a photo. This was me, 2004, before the first party. I haven't seen this man in years. He turned to the jury. If you want to know how powerful Diddy is, ask yourself how someone like me could be silenced for 20 years and not even realize it. Then he walked out. No press statement, no wave, no grandstanding, just quiet courage. Later, when asked by a reporter if he felt relief, Will replied, "Relief isn't the right word. It's just finished." But outside the courtroom, it was far from over. More subpoenas were issued, not just to musicians, but to executives, assistants, even media heads. Rumors swirled about visual tapes, footage the court had sealed, but insiders said could flip the industry upside down if leaked. One Hollywood insider said, "What Will just did wasn't a testimony, it was a spark." And now, the fire has started.